Hello there. My name is Lynn Jocelyn. I'm a functional medicine physician assistant, and I have a small micro practice in Durango, Colorado called Integrated Spectrum of Health. And part of my mission is to create community for both my patients and members, but also healthcare practitioners, so that we can all work together to really support humans on their path to healing and each other. I really feel like these conversations with healthcare practitioners, creating new connections and connections and support in different ways, we get to support one another as well. So tonight, I'm super excited because I've got Dr. Petra Sullwold, who is personally has been very near and dear to my heart. She's taken care of every family member and my dogs. And so I'm super excited for her to share a bit about her passion and her work and what she has to offer, as well as, just a bit about what it is to be in the healing profession and to keep going and to keep our sparks lit. So Petra, without further ado, I'd love for you to share a bit about you.
Well, thank you so much. I cannot even tell you how honored I am to be part of this today. It's an amazing thing that you're doing, and I hope that I can add some value to all of this. And I want to introduce myself. So yes, my name is Dr. Petra Sullwold. I'm a human and animal chiropractor. It was actually the horses that got me into chiropractic because I had a very, very old racehorse that was bitter and angry and aggressive. I saw a chiropractor come out and he adjusted that horse. And it wasn't so much the physical aspect that caught my attention that changed in that horse, but it was the emotional part. It suddenly had an animal that was willing to show up, to be with me, allowed me to, love on him and work with him. And it really caught my attention. So that's how I ended up getting into my profession. I immediately, 2 weeks later, I signed up for chiropractic school.
2 weeks later.
Wow. And, in order to be an animal chiropractor, you either have to be a human chiropractor, veterinarian. I was always attracted to the more natural approach to healing. And I decided to go to human chiropractic school. So I thought, okay, I'm going to just tough out those 4 years on humans, and then I'll open up my horse practice. And while I'm in school, I really enjoyed having this connection and gift that I realized was also very beneficial to humans. And when I graduated, I decided to also work on humans a bit. And now I have a mixed practice. To this day, I still do mostly horses, but I also do quite a bit of humans. And I love it. I love the ability of putting my hands on people and giving the body the opportunity to heal naturally from within. And every day I wake up and I just feel so deeply blessed that I get to do what I'm doing.
And I will say, being in your presence, I feel that like you are doing what you're called to do. I didn't know that animals, like you started in animal chiropractic, because I guess my sense is, well, you tell me how long. I had a feeling that animal chiropractic was kind of new. Is that not the case? Has it been around for a long time and is now just getting more, where you can go get training? I know you also do the trainings now, but.
Yes, that's actually a really good question. And it's funny because yes, I do we do continuing education for animal chiropractors now, and which led me to really dig into the history of animal chiropractic. And that's been quite fun because the first time animal chiropractic was ever mentioned was in 1899 by our founder of chiropractic, which was D.D. Palmer. But, it was shunned upon for a long time, the same as with human chiropractors. We were like called quacks and, we were criticized and, people didn't really understand what we were doing. So it's been a long journey to really educate people and really trying to differentiate us that we do have the proper education, that we know what we are doing, and that, aligning the spine, making sure we get rid of interference, what actually that provides to your body, which means a free flow of the nervous system so your body can heal. And what was fun was, even though it's been around since 1899 and they kept on developing it, I would say it's really been the last 5 years where it really exploded. People have seen such huge differences. And when I first came to Durango, which was 15 years ago, some of those, people would look at me, and I remember a cowboy in particular is like, "Oh, you little lady, what are you going to do with my big horse?" And, those are the same people now that are one of my most faithful patients, because they can see the difference in their horses. They can see the difference in their dogs. And the relationship between the veterinarians, everything has changed. And, our animals are such a big part of our family now that you sometimes want to, explore different options first before you have to, put them under the knife or do any major interventions. So definitely the last 5 years, the number of I can barely keep up with my animal practice. So I'm feeling very fortunate that more and more animal chiropractors are moving here. I've even just already sold off part of my practice, and it's been amazing. It's been amazing to watch, and people can see just a huge difference.
It's profound. And when I hear you explain it in those simple terms of just realigning so the nervous system can flow and the body can align, I mean, duh, right? It just makes sense. And you're a natural at it, because the minute you lay your hands on me, I begin, my energy shifts. And so it's powerful. And there's a lot to that healing relationship as well. So in the last 5 years, since it's really exploded, I have this idea that you've been a big part of really bringing animal chiropractic, like education, and your mentor, Dr. J. I don't know if I can pronounce his last name. Comeric, yes. I kind of see you all as pioneers in really getting this animal work out there. Would you mind sharing a bit about that piece?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a wild journey, because I do feel, not just Jay and Clay and I, which is my husband who also is an animal chiropractor, pretty much every animal chiropractor is a bit of a pioneer, because the rules and regulations are still very rough. There's still a little bit of, nudging and pushing back and forwards between the veterinarians. And it's animal chiropractic is still a bit behind when you compare human chiropractic, it's standard. Doctors refer, a lot of pediatricians don't even think twice to refer a child to a chiropractor that has an ear infection, because they know it's super effective. And I love that. That's been a huge change in the human chiropractic world, where we're really working together with a lot of medical doctors and people from all different fields. And it's become a beautiful relationship. It's slowly getting there in the world of veterinary medicine and animal chiropractic. So it's been a little rough in some states. And I have to say, I'm very proud. Colorado is one of the very few states where animals have direct access to animal chiropractic. And it's actually something that we changed.
Yeah.
And it's been, I've never thought I would get into politics and learn about how to change the law and what it takes, and what it means to have human interactions and to negotiate with the other team. And once again, I feel that this journey has just taught me so much, because it has taught me to how to articulate what I do, to reason and research why we do it, why it's so beneficial, why it's so important that the animals have direct access to us, just as a baby and a child and a human does. So, it's quite powerful. And I feel that, this is our specialty, and to express that and show proof that we are properly trained to do that was just a bit of a journey. And once we did that, everything worked out beautifully.
Wow. Well, I've been you've took care of Mocha, my sweet girl, for, through the end of her life, and our other dogs. And I've gotten to see, it's really powerful, the shifts that can happen. And we were referred to you by our vet. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known where you were. So I think that was probably a change too, right? But now people can go directly to you, which is wonderful, without needing that referral.
Yeah. And I think the last, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
No, the last thing that just comes to my mind is that, health doesn't have to be complicated. And especially with animals that don't have all this mental interference that we humans have, we need a lot of coaching, and, it's so wonderful what you offer, because, and it's the same when I'm, in a personalized on my table, there's emotional issues that have manifested very physically. And, a human likes to sometimes hold on to these emotions, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Animals just take it as it is. Yes, they could have had bad experiences, but they don't have that tendency to hold on the same level as humans. So, a dog comes in that's, dragging its hind and can barely walk, and, they're ready to put the dog down, and as a last ditch effort to come to me, or the same with a horse or a cat. And sometimes it's one adjustment, and it's literally miraculous. But that's what, when you have a body presented to you in a mind that's not attached to what this pain relates to or what the experience was with it, they're just ready to take the adjustment as it is. It's the purest form for me to see when somebody gets that adjustment. It's the same with the baby. So that's where it becomes really fun for me, because that's where I see the miracles and the power and the beauty of an adjustment. And it's super, super simple. And
that is such a cool, that's so powerful. So on many, many levels. One, and I love how you said healing doesn't have to be complicated. And this brain of ours, and also, don't you think, post-traumas that live in the body in humans, is that the more cognitive piece that we hold on to, and that gets in the way as well, all of that.
Yes.
Wow. And then, so in that pure form of infants or babies and animals, it's just quicker, it's just smoother, right? Because
yes. And we have a saying in chiropractic. We always say, when we adjust, our intention is to connect men physical to men spiritual. So the intention with humans is there. It just sometimes takes a little longer.
And I've never heard it put that way before. And that's really, really awesome. A big piece of stuff, area that I'm super excited about is the sort of the limbic system retraining, and really working more. I'm not a therapist, so not in the trauma piece, but the physiological trauma pieces that we can, the fight or flight, and that goes hand in hand with your work. And honestly, my big thing now lately is it's often last ditch effort. People are like, oh, well, let's do the limbic system, and I'm like, let's start there. And then we might not even have to do all these labs and all this other stuff, because your body will find its way home, which is, I think, a different ways of getting to the same place, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's huge. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really powerful. So I know, Petra, working with people day in and day out, even animals, right? Because then you have the humans that are caring for the animals. You're with a lot of people. How do you prevent burnout? And in your years as a chiropractor, and fighting the fight, really, because you've had to go up against really to get your voice out there of why this is important, and continually kind of go against that. How do you keep that spark lit, and or have you gone through burnout? Can you share a little bit about that, Pete?
Oh, it's so funny. I think I'm the queen of burnout. So I'm so what my love and passion for chiropractic is a huge part what drives me. And sometimes I just don't know how to stop and how to set boundaries and how to not do too much. So I have gone through a lot of burnouts. But the great thing is I'm getting better and better about figuring out, like, catching it before, not letting myself get all the way to where I go into complete body crisis or mental crisis, and setting boundaries. I mean, the list is endless because, sometimes it'll be more of a physical thing, sometimes it'll be more of an emotional issue, and sometimes it'll just be like little things like setting boundaries with patients and friends and etc. And the utter importance of nourishing your body, mind, and soul. And I would say after my last and latest episode, I'm getting really good at it. And it's and I do think that partially all these things we're going through is part of our journey, right? To learn and to navigate and to fine tune how to exist, doing what we love to do, being able to serve and not getting burned out. And I have so many of my chiropractic colleagues, so many of the people I work with, whether it's massage therapists, whether it's personal trainers, moms, all of us, we just push. And I see it every day on my table as well. And I feel very fortunate because to this day, I probably don't see as many human patients as my husband, because my husband runs the energy completely different than I do. And, I haven't perfected it yet that I can see 100 people a week without feeling tired. And I realize that and I honor that. And so I'm very particular with my times. And when I make space for my human adjusting, the animals are pure nurture for me, but that's a totally different experience. That's where actually, besides having to drive and besides maybe having more physical exertion, because I'm working with horses, they're very big animals. It's a very nurturing exchange for me. And, to this day, you're like, why is this? And my clients are the best clients in the world, but there's something about a human interaction that's a lot more intense for me personally in my body. And when I'm with a horse, it's just, I'm utterly grounded. There's something very magical and spiritual. And, I'm always on this journey for how can I bring this into my human practice? And then other parts for me are definitely just always navigating, like, how can I show up in my business the best way? We're all business owners, right? And how can it be that when I show up, it's fun? I get up in the morning and it's fun. So I start off with like the perfect schedule, the best times that feel good to me. And, what am I worth? Those are always questions that we ask ourselves too. And then what can I do for myself that's going to nurture me the most? And, every month, whether that's going to like a hot spring or skiing or sauna, and then I have my horses and all the things, really, really prioritizing the things I love. That's the first thing that's going to go on my schedule every month now, which I've recently just learned. So the next 3 months are already planned out with like vacation.
So important. It is so critical.
It's so important. It's so important. And we just have so many excuses, whether it's money or, I can't do this. I can't leave my practice. And I'm like, people are okay. You can go away for a few days. You'll totally be fun and fine. And they will be fine. And just really like shifting the schedule from this, like, okay, I got to work. And then when I have time, I can do a little like soul nourishing. No, it's the other way around. And
brilliant.
Yeah, I'm absolute priority these days. And then of course I have an amazing team, which you are part of. And I love my team that I can 100% count on. I have such trust and faith that all the right people that I need in my life to support me are going to show up, and they have. And I probably, now that, I'm going close to 50, I think I feel better than I've ever felt in my life. And slowly but surely I'm figuring it out. And it's a huge journey.
It's a huge journey. And I love that you're prioritizing, you're putting those things in first, right? The self-care things, the fun, the joy. And that's something you've had to learn. I think we do have to learn that. I want that to switch. I want that
Yes.
paradigm in our society to switch. But I guess it starts with us learning and figuring those things out, and then staying the course, right? Remembering, like,
Yes.
having people that keep us accountable to how important that is, so you don't go down the burnout road again, because
Yes.
we need you. The animals need you. We need your gifts in the world. And we need you to be nourished and healthy too, right? Like we all get to be, which is,
Yes.
it's powerful. So,
Yes.
one of the other things I would love to ask you, as we're kind of coming to a close, well, two things really. What, Petra, like, what lights you up? Like your soul, just,
oh gosh,
get, that infectious laugh that you have. What lights you up?
I realized that it's that finding that child in you where you just have so much fun and such a blast. And I think that's what a lot of us forget. And for me, I just look back, I just had my very best friend visit, and it was an interesting situation because I thought, I'm still feeling like a little tired from all the crazy last year. Should I do that? And it was probably the best medicine I could have had, because, once again, you want to check in like, okay, so this person is going to come stay with me. Is this going to be good? Are they going to be nourishing to me, or are they going to be draining to me? And I really encourage for everyone to ask themselves that, because I had to face that, with when I look at people who were part of my life, and I have what I call the big red velvet rope now. And I'm like, yes, you can be my life, or no, you can't. And I'm very strict about it. And I realized I healed in this last week so much, because her and I are like two little kids. We were riding horses. We got backed off in the snow. I keep on looking at those videos. I keep on laughing like crazy. And I realized it's that playfulness, this fun. I love horses above everything. And of course my husband too. But
But he's a human.
But just do something
much more complicated.
So, that really lights me up. Being, I have 5, I have Mustangs, and making a priority and playing with them and being silly, that is definitely one of my big nurture. And of course, I think another one, which is a lot for us, is my nurture, my thing that lights me up and nurtures me, is traveling and being with other people and experiencing the world. And I mean, hands down, what really truly deeply lights me up is chiropractic. My profession is just, I can talk endlessly about it. What I love about it is that we have something called the Green Books. So on the days where I get a little down, these are books that have been written by our developer and our founder, and it's pure philosophy. It's pure life philosophy, and it basically tells me why I'm doing what I'm doing. And when there are days where I'm like, oh my gosh, this was really rough, I had some really complicated cases, I feel hopeless, I open some of those books and it starts talking about innate and universal intelligence and our body, how infinitely smart it is, and the possibilities and the miracles and the magic that can happen. And I just need to be reminded of that, because after a day of like hearing about every single disease that exists and how hopeless it is, and you can help yourself that you get dragged down a bit. And I get it, when you're not feeling well, you're just like not having the happiest outlook in the world. So when I then like go back there and nurture my soul and read those texts, and I show up, and it just renews my energy. And yeah, I mean, I do have to say it lights me. I'm meant to be here to serve as a chiropractor. Chiropractic.
Yes, you are, like, hearing you. And I mean, and that's one of the things that always drew me to you, is your just this embodiment of confidence, not at all in an arrogant way, but this confidence in the pure medicine, or the brilliance of chiropractic, and the treatment's ability to put the body in a way, and I'm going to probably mess this up, but put the body in a way to realign and heal itself. And so it's like a vehicle, right?
You must have been a chiropractor in your previous life. That was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Or my next, who knows? I mean, I want those green books. I'm not gonna lie.
They're good. They're
wow.
good.
And that's, I think thank you for all of that. You brought up so many good points of when we do get down, we're human, all of us, right? Whatever our professions are, maybe we're not doing what we love, maybe we are, but it's reflecting and taking time to remember our why, and revisiting that. And that's really, really important. And I love the playfulness and the laughter and you have a beautiful laugh anyway, it's infectious. So before we close, and you kind of already did this, but I'll have you just maybe repeat or come up with one more, but what would be, for anybody who's listening, some words of wisdom from your journey, both personal and professional, through your work that you would like to offer?
Oh, that's a good one. I love that. I think this is something I tell my human and my human horse owner patients a lot, is that you've got to trust your innate. And I think that's one of the biggest things, because, even in my situation right now, I have a great team and I'm working on some female issues, and I'm really excited about it because I'm learning a lot, and I'm getting tons of input, but there's nothing that's stronger than my innate. I know what's good for me and what isn't good for me. And one of the things is like, do you have a strong innate, is my question. And what that means is like, are you in touch with yourself? Once again, I believe in chiropractic that, we connect men physical to men spiritual. So I know my patient's innate is very strong, and I can see that. And I encourage them to believe in it. When they have a child and they're not sure, well, should I do this with this child? Should I bring it to this doctor? Oh, there's this horse. Should I do this procedure? And I was like, your horse. What do you think innately is right? What's innately right for you? Like, sit with it. And people are sometimes so surprised because they've never given themselves or allowed themselves to sit for a second, check in, take a breath, and the answer is right there. So I do think that's probably one of my biggest advice. And through this journey myself, it's so empowering. I feel so strong, and the right people are going to show up. You got to trust in that as well. And your body has that infinite possibility to heal. There's nothing your body can't heal from. And you have to look at it physically, chemically, emotionally. And there's plenty of people that can support you in this journey. I'm one of them.
Yes, you are, absolutely. And that is, that's so true. And we just get to, there's just so much. And like you said, input, and there's so much coming at people, and there's so much internet and all of this. And now we get to remember what's always been there, right? So thank you. Thank you for that beautiful trusting our innate. Petra, it's been really delightful to visit in this way. It's just fun to be able to get to hear a bit about your journey. And I will have, for anybody listening, I'll have contact information or ways you can find Petra for your animals and or human needs. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And whoever's listening, thanks for listening, and look forward to our next podcast. All right. So we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.